The internet thought it knew the truth. But Nicki Nicole just changed everything. For weeks, she stayed silent, while millions tore her life apart. Rumors spread like wildfire, accusations filled the feeds, and every post, every comment turned her name into chaos. But today, that silence finally broke. Out of nowhere, Nicki posted a cryptic message that stopped the internet in its tracks: "Enough of the games." Within seconds, hashtags exploded. #Nicki vs Yamal flooded timelines, and fans across the world demanded answers. What games was she talking about? Why now? And what does this mean for the young football star who's already fighting to save his career? Some say she's exposing a secret no one was supposed to know. Others believe it's a setup, one final move in a game of digital revenge. But one thing's certain, this isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's something deeper, darker. Because when truth and lies collide on the internet, nobody walks away clean. This is the story of betrayal, power, and exposure. And this time, Nicki Nicole isn't playing anymore. The world knows Nicki Nicole, the pop sensation who rose from the streets of Rosario, Argentina, to the global stage. Her voice, raw and unfiltered, carried emotion that millions could feel but few could understand. She wasn't just another singer, she was a symbol of authenticity, the girl who made heartbreak sound like poetry. And then, there's Lamine Yamal, football's youngest prodigy, the boy genius who defied age, gravity, and expectation. At just 17, he had already become the future of Spain, the pride of Barcelona, and the internet's new obsession. Two worlds apart, one ruled by melody, the other by motion, their paths were never meant to cross. But in the digital age, stories don't need truth to connect, they only need attention. And attention was something both had plenty of. It began months ago, with a harmless clip, a joke, a line from an interview. Nicki, laughing on a talk show, was asked who her favorite young footballer was. She smiled and said, "That kid Yamal, he's got confidence." The audience laughed. The host moved on. But the internet didn't. Within hours, fans began stitching the clip with Yamal's match highlights, turning it into a viral trend, Nicki's crush on Yamal. It was funny at first, just a meme, just the internet doing what it does best, creating stories out of thin air. But that joke didn't stay a joke for long. Behind every meme, there are algorithms watching. And those algorithms noticed something powerful. People were clicking. Every edit, every hashtag, every fake flirty reply generated engagement, outrage, and profit. The line between humor and rumor blurred overnight. A few weeks later, things took a darker turn. A blurry screenshot appeared on X, Twitter, a supposed private message between Yamal and Nicki Nicole. It was fake, painfully fake, but it looked real enough. The message read, "You promised not to tell anyone. Why did you post that?" Within hours, thousands of users were sharing it. "Yamal and Nicki caught in private DMs," read one headline. "Proof of secret relationship," said another. Yamal's fans went wild. Nicki's audience turned defensive. The chaos had begun. At first, both ignored it. Yamal's management issued a short denial, "The messages are fake. Please don't spread false information." Nicki stayed silent. But silence, in the age of the internet, isn't protection, it's provocation. Every hour she didn't respond, the story grew legs. Fake screenshots evolved into AI-generated audio clips, supposedly of Nicki whispering Yamal's name. Then came the video leaks. Each one blurred, distorted, designed to almost look believable. And while the world obsessed over pixels, the people behind the screens, Nicki and Yamal, began to crack. Nicki disappeared from interviews. She cancelled 2 public appearances. Her label called it creative exhaustion, but insiders whispered about panic attacks, sleepless nights, and a shattered trust in everyone around her. She stopped checking her phone, every notification felt like a new wound. Yamal wasn't doing much better. His teammates noticed his silence in training. Reporters said he looked distracted, heavy, burdened by something he couldn't talk about. The pressure of the spotlight was crushing, and he was only 17. Then, one morning, it got worse. A fake tweet appeared, an edit made to look like it came from Yamal's verified account. It read, "I warned her. She should have listened." That one line destroyed everything. Within an hour, it was seen by more than 10 million people. Nicki was instantly labeled the victim. Yamal became the monster. No one questioned the proof. No one verified the source. The internet had decided who the villain was, and facts didn't matter anymore. Behind closed doors, Nicki's team scrambled. Lawyers, PR experts, digital investigators, all trying to stop something that was already unstoppable. Every fake post they took down was replaced by 10 more. Each denial became evidence that the story was true. And somewhere, in the background, someone was watching, feeding the chaos, amplifying every rumor, every hashtag, every click. Someone who wanted this storm to grow. It wasn't just random gossip anymore. It was coordinated, artificial, engineered. And though Nicki didn't know it yet, she wasn't just fighting lies about her love life. She was fighting something far more powerful, a digital machine built to manipulate truth itself. As the days passed, her silence became her prison. But that was about to change. Because when she finally spoke again, when she looked into the camera and said, "Enough of the games," it wasn't just a message to Yamal. It was a warning to the entire internet. Something bigger was coming. Something no one was ready for. The night it all changed didn't begin with a storm, it began with a notification. Nicki was sitting alone in her apartment in Buenos Aires, scrolling aimlessly through her feed, trying to ignore the noise. She had muted every keyword related to her name, but the internet always found a way to reach her. Then a message appeared from a friend, a single link, no context, just 3 words, "You need this." She clicked. The video loaded slowly, pixelated at first, then sharpened into something that froze her breath. It was her, or at least, someone who looked like her, sitting across from a boy who looked exactly like Lamine Yamal. The lighting was dark, the voices distorted, but the faces, they were unmistakable. The caption read, "Proof." She lied. Her hands started shaking. The internet had created a ghost version of her again. Another deepfake. Another lie. Within an hour, the clip hit every platform. Reaction videos. Hashtags. Analysis threads breaking down the lighting, the body language, the so-called proof. Commentators claimed it was finally the truth. Nicki's team called her non-stop. Her manager's voice trembled. "Nicki, you can't ignore this one. It's everywhere. Even the sports networks are talking about it." She didn't answer. Her phone slipped from her hand as she stared blankly at the TV. The news anchors were showing screenshots, debating morality in the digital age. No one was asking if it was real. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Lamine Yamal was finishing practice when his phone exploded with notifications. The first message came from his coach, "Stay offline." The next from his best friend, "Bro, this is bad." He didn't even want to open the link, but curiosity overpowered him. It was like looking at a crime he didn't commit. A version of himself doing things he never did, saying words he never said. His heart pounded in his chest, heavy and unfamiliar. Within seconds, he was trending again, not for goals, not for talent, but for scandal. He dialed his agent. "Tell me you can fix this." "I'm trying," his agent said, voice low, defeated. "But the algorithm doesn't care about truth, Yamal. It only cares about clicks." The internet roared louder than ever. Nicki exposed. Yamal caught. The final video. Every influencer, every gossip page, every wannabe journalist wanted a piece. They clipped, they analyzed, they monetised. Someone even posted supposed leaked messages, fake DMs between Yamal and a contact labeled NN. The chat read, "Yamal, you wanted fame. Now you got it. NN, you'll regret this." It was all fake, but no one cared. Screenshots replaced evidence. Opinions replaced facts. Nicki's phone rang again. This time, she picked up. It was her lawyer. They've traced the first upload. It came from an unverified account using a VPN. No digital fingerprints. "So no way to prove it's fake?" she asked, her voice cracking. He paused. "Not yet. But we're getting close." That night, she opened her notes app and typed a sentence she'd been rehearsing in her mind for weeks. "Enough of the games." Then she stared at it for an hour before hitting post. The reaction was instant. Within minutes, the internet split in half. Some said she was confessing. Others said she was declaring war. Memes flooded in, half mocking, half mourning. One viral comment read, "This isn't a scandal anymore. It's a nightmare." Back in Barcelona, Yamal sat on the floor of his apartment, scrolling through his mentions until he couldn't feel his hands. The same journalists who had once praised him for being the future of football were now calling him the fall of a prodigy. His mother called, crying, asking if it was true. That broke him more than the headlines ever could. Hours passed. Silence from both sides. And then, something unexpected, a private message from an anonymous account sent to both Nicki and Yamal. It said, "You were never supposed to find out. Project Echo doesn't stop for anyone." Neither of them knew what that meant. But one thing was clear, this wasn't random. Someone was controlling the chaos. A day later, an email landed in Nicki's spam folder. Attached was a zip file labeled elogs_01. Inside were chat transcripts between two unknown users, Spectre and EchoBot. The messages described how AI-generated scandals were created, distributed, and monetized. Each fake video was a test subject to measure emotional response. And the Nicki Yamal incident. That was Experiment 7A. She couldn't believe what she was reading. This wasn't gossip, it was a business. A machine designed to weaponize fame. Nicki's hands trembled as she forwarded the file to her lawyer. Find out if this is real. But the next morning, the file was gone. Deleted. Not just from her inbox, from every backup. The trail had been wiped clean. Someone didn't want the truth out. Still, she refused to be silent this time. She recorded a short video. No makeup, no music, just her voice. You can fake a video. You can fake a message. But you can't fake a conscience. The clip hit 10 million views in 1 hour. The world finally listened, but only for a moment. Because minutes later, another wave hit. Screenshots leaked of Nicki supposedly negotiating with Spectre. Completely fabricated. But they buried her message under noise again. It was now a war she couldn't win alone. Meanwhile, Yamal's agent called. Someone's leaking your training footage. They're editing your reactions, making it look like you're taunting her. Who's doing this? Yamal asked, voice raw. There was a long silence. Then, quietly, someone powerful. That night, Nicki received another anonymous message. A single line, "If you speak again, you'll regret it." She didn't sleep. She didn't eat. But she didn't stop either. By the next morning, she went live, millions watching, hearts pounding. "You've heard their lies," she said, "but you haven't heard my truth." Her voice was calm but fierce. "This isn't between me and him anymore. This is about what they did to us, to all of us. Someone out there is playing God with our names, our faces, our lives." And somewhere, in the corner of the web, a user named Spectre typed a message to their team. Phase 2 has begun. The feed refreshed. The internet exploded. But this time, it wasn't hate or pity filling the comments, it was fear. Because for the first time, people started asking the one question no one dared to before. If everything can be faked, what's left that's real? The days that followed felt like a fever dream. Every screen in every country seemed to be replaying the same images. Nicki's trembling voice, her confession, the silence that came after. Talk shows dissected her every word. Commentators called it the bravest act of the decade, while others whispered that it was a carefully crafted PR stunt. But beneath the noise, something had shifted. The audience wasn't laughing anymore. They were scared. Nicki's livestream became the turning point of an era, the moment people realized how fragile reality had become. Her face, raw and tear-streaked, glowed through the cold blue of 1,000 screens. Even those who once mocked her now stared in uneasy silence. "She looks broken," someone commented. "She looks real," another replied. For once, truth didn't come with filters or edits. It came in the form of a woman who had lost everything except her will to fight. Yamal watched the entire stream from his apartment in Barcelona. The curtains were drawn, the room dim except for the light from his phone. Every sentence Nicki spoke hit him like a bullet. He had spent weeks hating her for what he thought she had done, only to realize she was just as trapped as he was. He wanted to call her, to say something, anything, but he didn't know how. Two strangers, both victims, both haunted by ghosts that weren't theirs. The world didn't give them space to breathe. Cameras waited outside Yamal's house. Drones hovered over Nicki's balcony. Their every move became a live feed. Even when they were silent, their silence became content. The internet had turned their pain into entertainment. Then came the confrontation the world didn't expect. A journalist, desperate for clicks, managed to ambush Yamal outside his training facility. The camera shook as she shouted, "Lamine, did you know Nicki was telling the truth? Did you ever talk to her?" His jaw tightened. He didn't answer. The microphone trembled in front of him, the flashes blinding. Finally, he looked directly at the lens and said quietly, "We both lost something we can't get back." That single line became the quote of the year. It echoed through every timeline, every headline. But it wasn't just sympathy people felt anymore, it was guilt. Millions who once spread the lies began deleting old posts, apologizing in comments, realizing too late the role they played in destroying two innocent lives. Meanwhile, digital forensics teams kept digging. The truth they uncovered made everything even darker. Project Echo wasn't a one-time event, it was a network, dozens of coordinated accounts across continents, running automated scripts to create and amplify fake stories. Each scandal, each viral rumor, was part of a system designed to test human psychology, to see how far a lie could go before someone questioned it. And it worked. Nicki and Yamal weren't just victims, they were case studies. Their emotions, their suffering, their reputations, all data points in someone's grand experiment. When the report surfaced, the world felt something it hadn't felt in years: shame. Influencers who once joked about the drama went silent. News anchors stumbled through apologies. Hashtags like #WeFailed and #EchoExposed began trending. In her first public appearance after the revelation, Nicki stood on a dimly lit stage, a single spotlight cutting through the dark. The audience was silent. She didn't sing. She didn't cry. She simply said, "We believed everything except each other." Then she walked off. Yamal, watching from afar, smiled for the first time in months. Not because things were fixed, but because, for once, people were listening. And somewhere in the digital shadows, a message blinked on a private server, unseen by the world. Experiment complete. Human response, predictable. The screen went dark, but the question remained, if lies could break them this easily, how long before the next story begins? The noise has finally quieted, but the echoes still remain. Nicki Nicole and Lamine Yamal may have survived the storm, yet what they lost can't be measured in followers or fame. They lost trust, in people, in truth, in the idea that what we see online means anything at all. Their story isn't just a headline that faded, it's a warning written across the digital walls we scroll every day. Because somewhere out there, another story is being twisted. Another face is being deep-faked. Another name is being turned into a weapon for clicks and profit. And we, the audience, are the ones keeping the machine alive, every time we share without thinking, every time we believe without questioning. Maybe it's time we stop feeding the lie. Maybe it's time we protect the truth the same way we protect our passwords, carefully, deliberately, with awareness. Because if two people with millions of followers could be erased and rewritten by an algorithm, what chance does anyone else have? So before you repost, before you comment, before you add another spark to the fire, ask yourself one question: who benefits from this? If you believe stories like this deserve to be questioned, not consumed, hit that like button. If you think truth deserves a voice louder than lies, share this video. And if you refuse to let the next Project Echo rewrite another life, subscribe, because this fight isn't over. This is Rummer T, reminding you, the internet doesn't forget, but you can choose what it remembers. And sometimes, the scariest part isn't the fake news itself, it's how easily we believed it.